Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome back to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. I am your host and game master, as always, Skajarmas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. And with me today, we have our full cast of players. We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Thanatos, our male human Dark Knight.
The DM is cruel.
I always am. We have Luminous Starlight playing Rocket, our female cyborg chocobo warrior.
Hi.
We have Darkness playing Alistair, our male human paladin.
Hello, colds are cool.
Indeed. And last but not least, we have Tom117Z playing Neothil, our female Elvon ranger. And I need to turn the music down. There we go, that's better.
I was trying to say hi and you interrupted me. You didn't do the usual cut-off points in my intro. Why?
You
do this?
Sorry.
You've ruined everything. The series is over. Cancel it all.
Shut up. Right, and of course I'll be controlling the NPC party member Mika Solwyn, the female Mithra Red Mage. Now, before we get into today's session, I just need to get one or two things quickly thrown out there for audience awareness. Darkness is currently dealing with a cold. So if he sounds gravelly or mucusy, coughs a lot, or just goes quiet for prolonged periods, that is why. And Lumina also has some stuff going on that I won't get into because that's her shit. But it might, depending, it's not likely, but it's possible that might lead to her having to also be quiet. So just keep that in mind, audience, but hopefully it won't cause any meaningful disruptions to the game. But as is, with that out of the way, let's get into our recap of the previous session's events. So, where we last left off, our intrepid band of adventurers, as I've just been calling them since frickin' forever, had made their way into the bowels of the Hellfire Pit, the isolated home of Ifrit and his fire crystal of darkness, in the hopes of not only gaining access to that crystal, but also, hopefully, freeing Ifrit from the manipulations of the elemental archfiend of fire, Zaltea. They worked their way through the caverns and magma ways and reality-distorted tunnels of the Hellfire Pit's interior, and eventually arrived at the central chamber where Ifrit made his home. And it was at this point that Rocket used perhaps the biggest single use of destiny points we've had in the entire campaign to successfully negotiate through the situation and break him out of Zaltea's control with words alone. A very impressive outcome, which then resulted in the elemental archfiend of fire having her existence summarily extinguished by Ifrit's command. Because fire is fire, and all of it bows to him. She was no exception. With that, Ifrit relinquished his crystal into Rocket's care, if only because of her connections and devotion to Phoenix and his respect for his fallen sister. Though in handing his crystal over to her, he did make it clear that if her personal mission fails, there would probably be consequences from him for it. He's taking this very seriously. But, with that said and done, the party gathered up the crystals from Ifrit and went on their way, departing the Hellfire Pit. And as they did, the magma flows that had long been disobeyed the laws of reality as a result of the proximity of the Crystal of Darkness went still and dark and quiet. And it is in response to this that our game begins today. So, ladies and gentlemen, you work your way through the less than great interior of the Hellfire Pit, picking your way through the darkened corridors and blackened halls for a while. It's a long process, but it seems to be going just fine. Bit by bit, work your way up through the tunnels, and eventually you come out where you had entered, to find that it is getting on towards the evening at this point. You've been in this pit for a very long time at this point. And as you are emerging, you see the clouds overhead have gone still and are starting to part. The fiery storm that had filled the sky over the canyons of Athakora for so long have started to fade with the absence of the crystal. And the wind
Flying
stands
out,
still.
it won't really be as turbulent as flying in.
And no big god shooting fireballs at us.
Indeed.
So,
That's Velmarak.
so long as we stay on this good side. Come on. Ixion should still be at the airship, and hopefully Odin has found Stargazer.
Yeah, I can open the door to Bahamut for us.
First, I think we have other things to do, though.
All right, well, with that in mind, the party sets out and begins to work their way through the winding paths that you had taken to get to this point. And again, it's not the shortest trip. It's going to be a multi-hour trek to get back to the Little Wing from where you are now. And as should be mentioned, the party is tired at present. You've been going at this for a while. That dungeon was a very grueling experience. You dodged the fight with Ifrit, so you're not as winded as you would be, but you are very tired and it is starting to get dark, so if you want to...
Me, it's a proponent of just making back to the ship, because you can sleep in the ship. There are beds in that thing.
Agreed.
Plus, leaving Kyra alone overnight. Really a no-no.
You've already done it once.
Yeah, but doesn't mean we should do it again when we can, not.
All right. Well, either way, you work your way, pushing on through the night, and it's very tiring, but no one's really complaining at this point. And after some time of travel, you eventually begin to find the familiar returning to something more familiar from the brief time you sort of spent hunkered around your landing point. And eventually you come around the bend and you see the clearing where the Little Wing had landed. And you see several new bodies scattered around outside of the airship that you do not remember. Most of them look to be the remnants of those Hellfire Ravens that Zaltea had yunked at you before, strewn about, their feathers scattered, their bodies shorn open in various ways. And you can see Ixion sort of standing watch not far off, and you also see Caius, greatsword in hand, up on the deck, looking around and looking pretty haggard at this point. Like, there are very visible rips and gouges all over his form. He's clearly been through the ringer, but he's still standing.
It's a good thing we left Caius behind in his full end boss form, huh?
And Thanatos is just making a beeline for the ship.
All right.
Like, full speed.
All right.
Ixion, what's going on?
Oh, you've just had a few unwelcome advances while you've been away. Nothing we couldn't handle. Caius gives you a sideways glance, Thanatos, as you're coming up onto the deck. I hadn't known that you would be sending a very talkative horse my way.
Looks like you needed it. You look pretty worn. Haven't seen you this torn up since we kicked your ass.
I could have held out without him. It would have been harder, but I could have done it. Mostly I'm just annoyed because he won't shut up.
Ifrit is freed, and Zaltea is dead. For good this time.
Good. And you hear Ixion give off this little whoop from not far away. Ah, heck yeah! Take that, you stupid bird!
How's Kyra?
Her condition remains more or less as it was. I've checked on her when circumstances permitted. She's fading in and out of consciousness, but otherwise is as she was. She has the good sense to stay still.
What of Odin? Any word?
He came by not terribly long ago, while you were in there, I imagine. He came by with a group of others. The crew of the Stargazer. They're down below decks right now.
I take it the Stargazers are a write-off then.
By all accounts, they barely survived the crash.
Oh, Sid's not going to be happy. Biggs much more so.
Well, it's a good thing we have a very well-off ranger to pay the expenses for that ship, right?
Anyway, shall we get this thing into the air? What about Odin now? Because Odin was massive. He couldn't fit below decks, could he?
No.
What about Odin? Where is he?
Kaya shrugs. He said he had some matters to attend to elsewhere, and that he would check back in with you in a few days. I don't know where he went.
In other words, he'll find us. What about you, Ixion? Are you coming with, or are you going to find your friend?
Well, I'm sworn to Odin, so I'm going to go find him.
In that case, we're taking Kyra to receive medical attention in Volia. Find us there.
Will do. I'd give a salute, but I don't have hands.
Right.
He gives a sharp little nod, then turns over to Caius. You're a real grouchy piece of work, but you kick a hell of a lot of ass. Keep at it. Caius just crosses his arms over his chest, and you talk way too much. But so do you. Now get out of here. And with that, Ixion just goes jumping off high into the air with electricity sprouting from his hooves, sending him sailing far faster than he normally would.
Aw, Caius, you made a friend without me.
I respect his skills in battle, but I meant it when I said he talks way too much.
Odin has it worse. He practically lives with the guy in their nomadic ways. Anyway, boil onto the ship. I need to get in the air, moving towards Volia. Then we can rest.
It's at this point that Velmarak, who you notice hasn't actually walked up the gangplank, speaks up. I wish you well on that, but I think it is at this point that our paths must diverge.
You're not coming with? I know your tribe's not.
My duty was to protect the fire crystal, but it now is entrusted to another's care. At this point, as the only surviving member of my tribe, it is my responsibility to rebuild it. And given what lies ahead, I have a feeling you are all going to need help from more than just one single want-to-be storyteller. I'll go to Huntadur's Bonga and see if I can't strike up an arrangement with Bagamnon. Failing that, there are others to whom I can turn.
As much as I hate to play that angle, he's probably still feeling vengeful over what Altea did. The fact that her master and the one who ordered her to do it still lives might be some incentive.
Indeed. It was never my training, but I believe I have a way with words when I need to. Get a move on. Your friend needs help, and you need to plan your next move. I somehow doubt your enemies are going to stand idle with the last of their fiends dispatched.
They never do.
And with only one more crystal left.
We'll return the crystal your tribe guards safe and sound once all is done.
I look forward to it. Farewell, and may we meet again. He gives a respectful bow and turns to depart.
Be safe.
You as well.
Okay. Thanatos, go see Kyra. Mika, do you mind checking on her as well?
Right.
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but he's not too bad for a bongo.
Go on, you two, go check on her. Rocket, Alistair, if you want to get rest, go ahead. I'm going to get this bird in the air and sit behind the wheel for a little while. Thanatos, relieve me whenever you're rested up.
Yep.
All right.
And I take it Caius is just gonna disappear and take a break that he so rightly deserves at this point.
Yeah. As you go to head down below decks, he walks beside you and flows back around you, and your cloak is restored to your shoulders.
I can just imagine all of like Zoltea's little buddy just walking up, and then all of a sudden his boss music begins playing.
Why do I hear boss music?
Horde of Dragons begins to play. Or, no, it's not Horde of Dragons. It's Revenge of the Horde. That was it, wasn't it?
Isn't that Nidhogg's theme?
Yeah, it's the boss theme he used for Caius.
Well, actually, I used that as the intro theme. For the actual boss, I used the theme of the Shadow Lord from Nier.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Anyways, so, Caius, or not Caius, Thanatos.
Yes.
As you are heading below deck, with Mika at your side to go check on Kyra, you are greeted to the sight of Sid in the corridor, along with Nabat, Biggs, and Wedge, working on what looks to be a spot where they're trying to patch up some of the damage that was left when Ifrit was yucking fireballs at you.
Now,
Wasn't Fane with them out of character?
Fane and Elizabeth were with them, weren't they?
Yeah, the party composition for that group is Elizabeth, Sid, Nabat, Fane, Biggs, and Wedge. But you don't see Elizabeth or Fane right now. Just Sid, Nabat, Biggs, and Wedge.
Hey, Sid.
Ah, you're all back. Was wondering when you'd show up.
Well, sorry, we had a pit full of fire and a very pissed off god to deal with.
He sniped us right out of the sky. Stargazer never stood a chance.
I'm sorry about your ship, Sid.
That's fine. I can rebuild her.
Call it the Stargazer Enterprise.
At least nobody was terribly hurt, I hope.
Some singe marks, but, well, Elizabeth was able to keep the worst off of us.
And I imagine Odin showing up was quite a shock.
Oh, yeah. We've been hunkering down in the wreckage for days and barely fending off things that kept coming our way to try and eat us alive. Then suddenly the god of the earth shows up. Nabat glances your way. Do you have what you came for?
We got the crystal.
Good.
Without really a fight, believe it or not.
Good. Not sure how.
Man. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I managed to convince him without a fight.
Nabat kind of gives you a small ghost of a smile, Rocket. Seems you're just full of surprises.
I try to be.
As I recall, actually, this is the first time she's seen you since you rejoined the party, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So after a moment, Nabat actually walks up to you and lifts up a hand a little bit, as if to as if asking to touch your beak.
Rocket lets her.
Okay. So a second passes before Nabat gently places her hand on the top of your beak, as if in greeting. It's good to see you doing well.
Good to see you. Good to see you doing well, too. It's been a bit, hasn't it?
It has. Never would have expected you to say good to see you to me, though.
Yeah, the last time we parted wasn't on such good terms. But I still believe what I said. In fact, I've been gathering the feathers this whole time, too.
Well, for all of our sakes, I just hope you're right.
I really hope so too. I'll pay whatever price I need to make it work.
It's at this point that big sort of a clears his throat. Well, that's all well and good, but we should probably get back to patching up some of the damage. We got the worst of it cleared up, and the Little Wing's back in full flying capacity, but there's still a few gaps here and there we need to plug up. Should probably get back on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Kyra?
Sid nods his head back. Yeah. Elizabeth's tending to her right now.
Really? I never took her for the nurturing type.
She's not. She makes one hell of a brutal nurse, but well, she is a paladin. She has the skills.
And Fang? Where's she?
Resting. She joined in the defense for a while. When she exhausted her ammunition, she had to resort to close range to help fend off our attackers. But she's just resting now.
Yeah, Caius looked pretty worn when we got here, so must have been quite a lot.
The bodies that you saw out there were mostly already there by the time we showed up. Caius and Ixion had already been cleaning house, but there was still more coming our way.
The world needs Phoenix now more than ever.
It needs a lot of things. Gotta move on.
Right.
Right.
Yes. They're just head to the room where Kyra should be.
So you make your way over and open up the door to the room, to the medical room. You poke your head in and you see that, you do see Elizabeth looking a little scuffed up and a little dirty and tired, but still going strong, sitting on a stool beside the stretcher with Kyra on it, one hand outstretched with some gentle light from a cure spell radiating from her hands. Kyra looks to be asleep at the moment.
I never pegged you for the nursing type.
It was part of my training.
Thank you for taking care of her.
Don't thank me too much. There's only so much I can do right now.
I just hope we can get her some help. Maybe Vialia or Enlund?
Either one, honestly, would be a good pick. Viala, if only for the court white mage they have there, or Endlum because Magitech could do wonders as to repair the damage here. Magitech created Rocket, after all.
Mm-hmm.
We did already tell Ixion we'd be going to Viala, though, so we want to meet them.
Yeah.
Honestly, a court white mage probably would be our best bet at this point. And I don't think I want to try the Academy City after all they went through.
Worst is yet to come. Unfortunately.
One crystal left, and that's in the hands of Bahamut.
And we can't expect Diablos to just stop his efforts like that. Part of the reason that we created this network was to help communicate during this time. To combine our efforts, so to speak. Save as many as we can.
I'm aware. You're the one who sent me on that mission.
Yeah. You were a good fit for it, I gotta say. All of you.
We certainly do collect very skilled individuals along our travels.
It's at about this point that the airship starts to power up from Nee working in the cockpit.
I guess Nee's got the ship going. You can take a break if you need to, Elizabeth.
She lowers her hand. Thanks. Nevertheless, you should probably keep someone on top of it.
Mika should be in the room because I sent them both down there.
Yeah, Mika steps forward and sort of gently ushers Elizabeth out of the seat and takes her place. Don't worry. I got this. And now it stretches her hand and starts to do more or less the same thing, keeping a steady stream of healing magic flowing into Kyra to keep her condition from worsening. All right. And with that, if there's nothing else,
Thanatos just finds another seat and just sits next to the bedside.
all right. All right.
To Viala we go.
Indeed. So, with that, the little wing rises up into the air, up and up and up, past the highest levels of the tops of the various canyons and mesas that make up this region. You turn her to the northwest, and with a pump of the Magitech engines, you start your journey. In time, the sun begins to rise up on the horizon, letting you see more and more of the world around you as you're going. Over the coming few days, you pass over the greater Uzora Desert, seeing the great dunes passing you by below. One day, and then two, and then three before familiar mountain ranges start to appear in the distance. Mount Uzor and the colossal spires of Ixion's spine. Let's see here. You pass over Mount Uzor, sort of weaving between several of the little peaks and jagged slopes it has. You even briefly catch sight of Aquadust as you're going, that small settlement from a ways back. That most certainly probably will not be making it into the video game adaptation.
We'll see. Depends on... Because imagine we're going to have Kurztown have its own city map, like Marasu.
Oh yeah, probably. It's a big enough place to warrant that. But at any rate, as you're coming down from the slopes of Mount Uzor and back out into the nomad steppe of Volia, it is at this point that I should mention that the date in-game is the 13th of Fading Life, otherwise known as Thanatos' birthday.
Oh.
What a wonderful birthday. This is my quote-unquote girlfriend is paralyzed right now, and we're all just flying over. We just flew over Kurztown.
Wow, that was like a day or so ago, 2 days ago, at this point.
Yeah, it was about a day ago that you flew over Kurztown, and you kind of skipped by Kurztown.
So when your birthday comes about, we're over the plains of Volia.
Still, not exactly a great birthday.
No, but still. If there's anything you wish to do with that, now is the time.
Are any of us even aware of that?
I wasn't either. I kind of forgot about it.
I mean, there are enough members of the group. I mean, Thanatos would probably be aware of, of the date, because, Mika keeps meticulous track of that. So, if you don't want to do anything with that information, we can just skip by it, but I'm just giving you the chance.
I was about to say, I don't think really
it.
anybody's in a celebratory mood at this point.
Fair enough.
I'll buy you a drink when we're in Volia. And I would share a drink, but I don't think we have any.
Yeah, I drank it all probably a long time ago.
I don't think we ever had any in the Little Wings hold, did we?
Not that you knew of.
Not enough to be worth a damn.
And what we did have, he already had. You drunken bastard.
Well, at any rate. And so, with that, electing to just pass it by for the time being, you can celebrate later. You continue on with the final stretch of flight to Viala. And in time, the familiar city on the shores of Lake Melody comes into view. It's a refreshing sight to be back among civilization again after all this time in the air and your ordeals at the Hellfire Pit. You bring the Little Wing down towards one of the dry docks. You see that there is an open airship landing for you to get yourself attached to. You go through the motions, and before long you safely make port in Viala, getting attached and getting tied off. It is, I'd say, like given how much on the timer it said you have, like, this is like on the same day that Thanatos' birthday came up, but like the sun is setting right now, so it's almost night.
So but it is still Thanatos' birthday.
Yes, you were just able to make that leg of the flight from where you were, it's getting on towards the nighttime, but you still have like an hour or two before it's dark. Well, an hour.
Well, first things first. As we're coming into land, does someone want to make a run up to inform the court white mage or any other medical professionals that we need assistance here?
I can't remember if did we ever actually meet any of the leadership in Viala?
You did not in Viala. I mean,
No,
you met with the king Theodore, but I don't think you met the court white mage.
No.
Well,
Or if you did, I was a stupid idiot who forgot to jot down any information on them.
No, we met Theodore because he was the one who had us go to that. What we were talking about, the crystal, didn't we?
Yeah,
that is true. Wait, so we'll just go find him.
all right.
And make a request. Sid, what are you going to do now we're here?
Well, most of my influence is all the way back in Endlem, so...
I mean, you are lacking an airship.
I am, but if you're going to be getting taken to the Tower of Creation by Odin, then if you need someone to keep an eye on the Little Wing, I'd be happy to do that for you if you trust me enough to do that.
That is a point. I didn't know whether he'd actually bring the entire ship.
Or if he was just going to teleport us there or something.
We'll see what he says, but if the Little Wing can't come with, then yeah, I'm happy lending her to you for a while, just so long as she doesn't share the Stargazer's fate, at the very least.
Duly noted. If you do wind up lending her to us, where would you have us go and what would you have us do? There's no more crystals to scout out.
There's not. It's just what we have to gain at the Tower of Creation. For the time being, I'd leave that to your group's discretion. We keep you informed of if any new plans and developments when we get to Crystal. Until we do, there's not much else to say.
Gotcha.
Just prepare for a storm.
I've been doing that.
Maybe you could... hold on. I need to remember the name. You could head for Vitae. Maybe they can lend you an airship.
Maybe. We'll see.
Anyway, who's running up to the castle to get people to come and get Kyra?
Yeah, Thanatos will be leading the charge.
Alright.
Alright, Nee will stay on the ship for the time until they arrive. Just keep you an eye on things.
Alright. Does anyone want to go with Thanatos to the castle?
If somebody preferably with high negotiation, considering I don't know, if I'm gonna have to negotiate, and I don't think Thanatos is very good.
What's Alice's negotiation?
I believe it was 7 last time I checked.
Then yes.
So yeah,
Then yes. He's trying Alistair with him.
I'll just double check to make sure so I don't disappoint you. Let's see, negotiation. Yeah, it's 7.
Good.
Rocket, you going with them or sticking around the ship?
Oh, rest of it.
Right. So me and Rocket and Mika stay because Mika needs to tend to Kyra.
So
Anyway.
it's
Then Alistair and Thanatos run up to go get her help.
so it's just the boys.
All right.
Yay.
All right, so you don't waste any time quickly making your way through the streets of Viala. At this late hour, there aren't very many people about, and those who are sort of take notice of your group as you're running by with the sort of like, what the? Huh, they're in a hurry. It doesn't take long before you find the, as you recall, very humble castle of Viala, sort of near the top of the city, sort of sloped ascent, mountain-like structure. And you can see that at this point, the gates going into the castle are closed. It looks like court's not in session for the day, or like it's out, and things are sort of starting to wind down and wrap up for the night. Though you do see a couple guards sort of standing around outside.
And I guess we'll just walk up over to the guards.
Yep. One of them steps forward, a tall Elvon man. Yes, who are you? Castle's closed for the night.
We need to see the king. It's of utter urgency.
You would be surprised how many people tell me that.
Oh, this is kind of a world-ending threat that we need
Okay,
to try and deal
so-
with. So
Just
please, can we see him? It's very urgent.
Alistair, could you make a negotiation check using 1d6 because that was flimsy as hell?
Yeah, my brain's flimsy as hell today.
Also, you're not there about Diablos right now. You're there about the fact that our companion's paralyzed, needs help.
you know, honestly, at this point, if this doesn't work, Thanos is probably just gonna grab him by the something and just
So it's a
well,
1d6.
get him. No.
Yeah, just 1d6, Alistair.
Yes, I wasn't enough of that bit. That explains it. Whoops.
Bring Alistair, we said. He's good at negotiating, we said.
Watching go. If he rolls just 1-6, does that still technically count as a critical?
You cannot get critical successes on rolls with only 1d6.
Fuck.
So it's up to the dice and my +7, I guess.
It's a natural
Please,
12.
please still get a 6 and have a 13, please.
Nope.
Damn!
Oh no!
Oh,
That is very unfortunate, my good man.
Oh!
and
Wait,
it turns out
critical fails?
because you brought Alistair, Kyra gets no help and she dies.
Yeah, Thanatos is not going to have any of that.
Okay, so, Alistair, you go to give this explanation and the guard just rolls his eyes. Look, I'm not paid to deal with the ramblings of tourists, okay? So unless you've got something substantial to show me to prove your reason to be here, I'm going to need to ask you to move along.
It is at this point, Thanatos' eyes get a little... Is it more like coals? Like, is his eyes like more amber?
They don't shine like amber because your darkness isn't drawn from the amber. They burn like coals.
So his eyes get a little coaly. He pulls out the darkness crystal from Ramu and says, "Get him now."
At this point,
Like-
you can make a negotiation check with 3d6. Okay.
We'll do it.
16, yeah, so the guard, on seeing the crystal, visibly pales a bit. It's like, ah! He turns to his buddy. Keep an eye on them. Yeah. And then he quickly darts inside, just pulling the gate open just enough to slip in.
The king says, be careful who you show those crystals to. Meanwhile, the Thanatos.
He's pissed and worried.
Fair enough. All right, so a couple Minutes pass, and in that time, the other guard is just eyeing you with this sort of like a, what the fuck kind of look on his face. He's very anxious all of a sudden.
And Thanatos is just standing there, his finger thumping on his arm, and every time the guard looks at him, he looks back, and the guard can still just see that little bit of coal in it.
All right, so yeah, you've definitely got this guy going pants shitting mode. But after a few minutes, the gate swings open. The guard pokes his head out. The king will see you in the audience chamber.
See? Now was that so hard?
And he steps aside to let you in.
And he just trudges right on. Come on, Alistair.
Right, you are. You know, now I think about it, even if I did roll 2d6s, I wouldn't be surprised it'd be Snake Eyes.
Is there a vacuum cleaner going on in your background?
Yes, and I'm muting myself from that, sorry.
All right, fair enough. All right, so with that, you make your way through the halls of the castle, up a few flights of stairs, and before long, you're stepping into the audience chamber throne room, as you recall. The humble space, relatively low ceiling, not too extravagant by this sort of room's standards, and you can see the familiar visage of Theodore up ahead, sort of waiting curiously and vaguely anxiously by the throne as you're stepping in, and he looks up as you enter. I do not remember what voice I gave him, so he steps forward. I wasn't expecting to see you again for quite some time. What news do you bring?
First things first. I assume you have a court white mage at your disposal?
I have a court white mage and a small assortment of physicians, yes, why?
I need all of them. To the airship hangar, now.
Slow down. Explain what's going on to me, please.
One of our friends was injured terribly. Her spine was injured. She can't feel anything from the waist down right now.
I see. Your ship is the Little Wing, correct?
Yes.
Right. He turns to one of the guards standing nearby. Go fetch the white mage and a couple of physicians. Take them down to the docks and get the patient up here for proper treatment. Yes, sir. The soldier bows his head and quickly shuffles out. And as he's leading, Theodore turns back to you. All right. We'll see what we can do for her, but... well, it'll be up to the court white mage to see how much she can do.
Thank you.
So what all has happened?
We have gathered all but one of the crystals now. We just returned from the Hellfire Pit in Ifrit.
The first mortals to do that in centuries.
Well, at this point, we kind of overcome expectations.
So I have noticed.
And the only crystal that remains is Bahamut's in the floating castle.
You know, for all the time that palace has floated there over that chasm, not a single mortal man, woman, or child who has approached has ever come back.
Well, I'm sure we'll break that record too.
Don't get overconfident now. You're all accomplishing very impressive things. The collection of crystals you boast is testament to that. But even so, you will still have limits.
We can't afford to have limits now. With this last crystal, all of the gods will have given all their power to us. And then for sure Bahamut Diablos will strike.
So what you're saying is time to limit break.
Thank you. I was trying to be more vague and mysterious about it, but thank you.
Well, I wish you luck all the same. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
No.
Well,
Again, thank you for the medical aid.
my physicians will do everything they can, and I'll instruct the castle guard to let you and your entourage in without a fuss, so that you can check on her at your discretion.
Yeah.
If that'll be all, I have matters I must return to. You arrived quite unexpectedly.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We'll leave you to your evening. Come on, Hauser.
Alright. With that, you make your way out of the throne room and out of the castle.
Yeah, that's probably the most polite Thanatos has ever been.
Well, if you had actually taken the route of having Thanatos heft that guard up by like the collar of a shirt instead of just showing him the crystal, the other guard would have immediately been pointing a spear at you.
Yeah, I thought about that just for a second, and then I thought, oh wait, I have the crystal. If he sees that, then he's probably gonna be like, yeah, that they mean business.
Thanatos, please go get medical attention. Alright. 5 minutes left. Why aren't we at war of Volia?
Why is the
Because
castle
they were-
on fire?
Because they refused, and Thanatos does not like refusal when he is pissed.
Where did you get that nuclear bomb?
Wait, what?
Why is Ramu using Judgment Bolt on the city?
What did I miss?
I unleashed Ramu on the city for not giving Kara aid.
No, you didn't. He wanted to.
Okay, no, here's that. What if I had actually gone? If they outright refused, altogether, no matter how much I negotiated. What if I just straight up just summoned Ramu right in the middle of the
Wouldn't Ron
city?
have actually done anything or just looked at the situation and gone, no.
Rama would have just looked at you with a look of mild disappointment, like, dude, come on, this isn't what I'm here for. Given the guards a brief talking to and then fucked off.
I was gonna say that would break our moral compass.
Also, though, it would have been effective getting a talking to by a god. It's like, he goes home that day.
would
So,
probably
honey, how
cause-
was your day at work? I got threatened by a dark knight. He slaughtered half our regiment, and then I got scolded by a bit by Santa Claus, essentially. So, how was your day?
Beardo.
Hold on, I need to jot that down. I got threatened by Santa Claus, essentially.
The
Call
full
upon me, and
Thing
I am
is-
here now, as it would seem.
yes. The full thing I said, you got threatened by a dark knight. He then slaughtered all your guards, and then got scolded by Santa Claus. That was your day.
Oh my!
The moral lesson in this: do not mess with Thanatos when he is pissed, especially when Kyra is.
Moral lesson is, don't send Thanatos to get help, because he ends up killing the help, apparently.
No, I didn't.
In this hypothetical scenario, we
In the hypothetical scenario.
I know you like that edge, man, but that is way too bloody edgy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And I added a little
well
thing to the end
stuck,
there.
Thanatos.
So yes, we shall be returning to the little wing. Yes.
I also just made this in 5 seconds.
Well, it's gonna be a bloody crisp.
Made what in 5 seconds?
So please let us in, I guess. Listen, I promise and suffering for eternity. Yes. I approve of this message.
God fucking damn it. Okay, alright. We need to get back into this. God damn it. Okay. Alright. So, with all of that said and done, you make your way out of the castle, and before long, you return to the Little Wing, and as you're coming back, you are shortly followed by a human woman in the familiar robes of a white mage, the white flow and the red triangles, and she is flanked by a couple of individuals in somewhat less flamboyant robes that look more utilitarian, I guess. Like, they have a lot of pockets, a lot of pouches, and you can see, like, vials and whatnot strung all over them. You would assume those are the physicians, and you can see that they're being escorted by a small handful of armed guards. So, pretty much everyone aboard the Little Wing is aware that this group has arrived.
Neat.
Found them then.
Yeah, I was very convincing.
I'm sure. She looks towards the medics. She's down in the hold. Hard to miss.
The White Mage nods and sort of gestures for the physicians to follow and gestures a hand towards the guards like, stay here. And heads below decks.
I hope this one knows her stuff.
I doubt she'd be a court White Mage if she didn't. That's Mika. It's kind of a high rank.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine here.
I wonder if she's ever fixed a broken spine.
It's out of our hands now, so just let them do their work and let's focus on what we can do, okay?
Just make sure she has a world to come back to when she's better.
Right. So, any idea how we're supposed to contact Odin? Or are we just supposed to sit on our butts and wait for him to show up?
Well, he did say he'd find us, and I told Ixion where we were going. So there'll be a long... All we can do for the moment is wait for him to appear. He is our key into the Tower of Creation and all. So, on that note, I think we all need a bit of cheer-raising.
So neat.
Hmm?
Excited to meet your god?
So, Thanatos, when were you going to mention or remember the fact that it's your birthday today?
He just kind of just gives this like emotionless expression at this point. Yeah, I don't think you've noticed, but my birthday is not really something I celebrate a whole lot.
Yeah, we're going to change that. We have, like, how much gil now? We're buying out the bar.
Yeah, you've
we
got
have
like
over
you've got
230,000.
yeah, you've got 231,000 gil.
We'll just buy out the whole bar. Drinks on everybody! Drinks
Sid,
on everybody! On me!
you in on this? I think we could all use a bit of R&R.
Yeah, sure. I think the mooks here and the Drynox can keep an eye on things for a little while at least. Count me in.
Mooks.
Anyone who doesn't want in, feel free to make use of the cabins. Anyone who does, let's go. And see whether... Fane, your mother might be serving today.
That'd be nice. Count me in.
Nabat and Elizabeth both elect to remain behind, though.
Nabat doesn't strike me as a celebratory type. Elizabeth is jaded to fuck, so yeah.
Yeah, so...
Aw, Nabat, but then you could...
Billy is done upstairs. Be right back.
Okay.
Aw, I missed the kind of... That's what I was gonna think. I was gonna say like, "Oh, Nabat," but then you can see you get to see Rocket drunk.
That's happened before, actually, once.
There are some things mortal eyes are not meant to see.
Well, these mortal eyes have beholden it, and it is interesting watching a drunk chocobo whose systems stop functioning correctly.
She did I believe she jumped and hit the ceiling, didn't she?
Didn't her field of view just become the error message?
It became a field of error messages because she was filled with liver poison.
And like did she like do a flip or like
She tried to do a backflip because someone said, "Do a flip." She tried to do a backflip, jumped too high, belly flopped into the ceiling and passed out.
And then everyone cheered.
Yes.
Yes.
because drunk is fun. Oy vey. But as you're sort of regaling Nabat with this story, she gets this increasingly horrified look on her face. And after a second, she just sort of puts a hand to her face like, "I know I'm one to talk, but could you please be more careful with my colleague's creation?"
She was fine in the morning. Whatever detox systems you put in her worked.
We didn't put any. That was
Well,
just her
then-
body.
I mean, she's pretty big, so I guess it goes through her system pretty well.
Just.
Don't worry, we promise to take good care of the glowing phoenix chocobo with the powers of a god growing inside of her.
Hey, maybe now when she gets drunk, she'll catch on fire.
Please,
That
no.
is legitimately a valid concern, and now I'm very afraid.
Oh, that would be horrifying, especially since most alcohol is flammable.
You know what? No,
Well,
I'm
what
not,
else
I'm not
would you expect
continuing
with
this
Thanatos'
conversation. It's
birthday?
making me increasingly concerned. Just go. Have your fun. Have your fun. Don't let the bird drink. Just go.
Although, what about hot sauce?
Thanatos.
Nabat's walking
Put
away.
it with my staff. And just
I'm sure you'll be fine with Geishel pickle.
Like a really spicy geisha pickle.
So Sid's coming, Fane's coming, Elizabeth
we are
is
going.
Nabat.
Yeah, and Biggs and Wedge are
Biggs and
Wedge are
Wedge.
coming too.
Of course they are. Since they're practically the Final Fantasy 14 versions of them, that's gonna be interesting. You fool of a Lalafell.
You fool of a
I'm not a fucking cop, Chocobo.
Remember that? Yeah. Wasn't so long ago for Vela. The full thing was, even though it bled, I said, no. Jump, Kotobo. Yeah, Kotobo? Yes, Kotobo. That's what happens.
Kotobo.
That's what happens when Cruella de Vil gets her hands on a chocobo.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez. Tom.
Okay.
101 burbs.
You're horrible.
So would Nabat be Koala Devere in this context? Because she was so heavily involved in the Project Phoenix thing to begin with.
I mean, she didn't try and skin Rocky for a coat, so.
No,
But
but
she did put metal bits in her.
she was involved at least. Okay, can we please get a move on?
Yes.
This is all hilarious and very entertaining, but it's kind of off topic.
Indeed.
So
Anyway, I think we're going to the bar to get Pentecost drunk now.
yes. Yeah. Okay. So
The
with that,
think we are about to buy the bar. So anyway.
okay. I need to remind myself the name of Pharaoh's family. Okay.
You mean the little boy who is like, that's a bad word.
Obscene gesture.
Obscene joke.
Yeah, he won't want to be in here when this happens because he will have a whole new understanding of many new words. So,
All right. So
obscene existence.
he just looks at Diablos. Asshole.
He's grown up so fast.
Anyway, so I'm just giggly today. Anyway, so after you wait just a little bit until you see Kyra being extracted from the little wing and taken through the streets, or escorted back to the castle, and she's asleep at this moment. There were a few brief moments when you were flying back where she lapsed back into consciousness, but those usually didn't last long and were subsequently followed by her requesting Mika cast sleep on her so that she could go back to sleep and stop dealing with the fact that she can't feel her fucking legs. So, she's been out for pretty much the entire trip by her own request. So, and she's still out now as she's being taken to the castle. And as they're walking out, very briefly, the white mage looks towards the rest of you.
I do imagine she probably, the first time she woke up, I can easily imagine her asking for details on Ephraim being disappointed that we didn't actually fight him.
Yeah, well, as is. The white mage looks towards you. Yeah, the white mage looks towards you all as she and her physicians are bringing Kyra out.
After a brief cursory examination, I have confidence that she'll make a full recovery with the proper ministrations, but it will take time.
Take all the time you need.
Rest assured, she's in good hands here.
She better be.
She is. I take my job very seriously.
And with that, they continue on their way. And once you're satisfied that there will be no concerns with them on their way, your rather sizable delegation makes their way towards the inn and tavern you've been in numerous times before, where Fane's mother works, and at this point, pretty much that family lives, just permanently renting out a space for themselves. It's cheaper than getting a house at the moment while they're still saving up for that. Especially considering all of the shit Fane's out doing, keeping her from making money for that fund. But as is, before long you're stepping into the familiar space, and you can actually see Solara, her name, as I've since reminded myself, is in the process of wiping a few things down, sort of near the front doors you're stepping in, and she looks up, with Fane leading the way. Fane, you're back! And runs over and wraps her kid up in a big ol' hug, and of course Fane returns it.
It's been a day and a bunch. How's Dalen? Upstairs, sleeping for now. You brought a lot of friends this time. Yeah, apparently.
Fane looks over at you, Thanatos, with a bit of a grin.
One of them has a birthday today, so they figured they'd, celebrate while they're waiting for some info on something. All right, how are you wanting to go about this, then? It's been pretty quiet all day.
I am going
Well,
to,
that's an end.
I am going to drink until I pass out.
So, well, first off, how many people are in the bar currently?
You see like a group of like lower level adventurers sort of off in one corner, looks like drinking off whatever their last job was, and a couple of, you assume, maybe more wealthy fishermen over at the bar, but other than that, it's pretty quiet. Only like 7 or 8 other people, tops.
Oh, let's do this properly. Drinks for everyone from us.
The table of adventurers in the back immediately perks up, and a Galka among them says, "Wait, what?"
You heard.
You heard,
Get over
everybody.
here and get something.
You heard everybody. Drinks are on the elf.
And if anyone here tonight can outdrink that man there, points at Thanatos, they get 100 gil.
The Galka immediately stands up.
I'm having what Thanatos
And he sees this little Taro fell next to him, reach up, grab onto his finger, and slowly pull him back down.
Is this happening? Thanatos, you're having a drinking contest with a Galka.
Yes.
All right,
So how much is that going to cost us? Drinks for everyone.
well, let me whip out my calculator, and I will get back to you in just a second. Because are you like you were talking about like just the 8 other people in the room, but are you also counting your party for that as well?
Yes, obviously.
Alrighty. So
I'm
then,
having whatever Thanatos is having.
so let's see here. So for the group composition, we've got the main group, which consists of 5, and then we've got another 4 from Biggs, Wedge, Sid, and Fane. So that comes out to 9, and then there's 8 other people in the bar, so that comes out to...
Is Lumina back and is Rocket drinking?
I do
Take
not
that.
know.
She
No,
is
Lumina is not.
she is not back yet.
Regard checks me out.
I think she said something about chili.
Well, either way, if we're assuming a full round of drinks for everyone present, that'll be 680 gil per round. To like get everyone in the bar a drink.
So sorry, how much? Sorry, I don't know.
680 gil per round. It's like for everyone to get a drink, it's 680 gil.
And how much gil do we currently have?
A lot more than that.
231 grand. Yes.
Drinks for everyone.
Yep.
Okay, give me just a second here. I'm getting somewhat more fitting music for this, because I don't have a tavern playlist for some reason. If this is lyric based, nope, that ain't right. Hold on. I want something that I want something that isn't lyric based. I want something that's just regular, you know.
And that's also I'm pretty sure a song singing about how the enchanters of Ferelden got tricked by the Winter Imperium to being slaves. So yeah, happy.
Fuck it, this'll do for the moment. Regardless, so after a brief moment of Fane quickly moves to help Solara behind the counter because that is definitely money. That is a lot of drinks flying around. But give me a second here. I'm just running numbers. But before long, there's just drinks going around, and you're getting some appreciative nods, and one person, even one of those fishermen, just kind of tries to get a cheer going for you guys, and it just kind of peters out because it looks like everyone in here is just kind of tired right now. Either way,
except for the Gulker, anyway, he was ready for a bloody.
he is ready for a struggle, and you still see him occasionally moving to just immediately head over, and his little Tarafel just keeps grabbing onto his finger and pulling him back into his seat.
No. Thanatos takes 2 drinks and goes over to the guy. He's like, "Let's do this."
Hell yeah. What's your name?
Thanatos. Yours.
You'd have a hard time pronouncing my actual name, but my friends just call me Bronk.
Bronk. Nee kind of elbows Mika. So he's going, I think I'm going to go officiate him to set the rules for this.
Go for it. I'll keep score.
And she pulls out a little notebook.
So, we have our 2 contestants for the night. The Dark Knight from the desert, and our dear Golka fellow with the unpronounceable name. So here's how we're going to do this. Shots of drink. We're going to start off with the lightest in here, all the way to the strongest. What's Solara, isn't it? Fane's mother.
Solara, yeah.
Solara, strongest drink in it. Would it by chance be water?
Yeah?
So, from the weakest to water, whoever drops first is the loser. If you both make it to water, I will be very impressed.
This sounds like a proper challenge to me. Bronk holds out a hand. May the best win.
Thanatos takes it in a shake. I'm sure I will.
And then the Tarafel next to Bronk just giggles.
I'm sure you will too.
Shut it, Tal.
So, how shall this challenge work, oh my TTM?
Well, we've done drinking games before, but because Tom's kind of gone and arranged things slightly differently than I would have done it, I guess the way this will just...
I'm doing it purely to see whether they both make it to water, and if they make it to water, either they'll both be up, one will be up, or they'll both just immediately go down.
Okay, so here's an idea. What if say a maximum of 4 checks, and the difficulty increases for each one, and the first one to drop.
Yeah. What I was figuring is that the DC continuously increases, and then whoever hits 3 losses first loses.
Yes.
And each check, the DC gradually increases. We'll
and do this for a set. Create in the head just a set amount of drinks they're going to consume. 3 DCs lost will constitute a loss. However, if they both manage to get through that number, go for the water, which will be the hardest DC, and no matter how many fails they had before, if they fail that one, they're down.
I mean, I was just going to have it be a best 3 out of 5, honestly.
But water is the special one, so you know.
Well, we're going to probably lose the water anyway. So
say go for 9 drinks, 9 normal drinks, because 3, 6, 9, so just a multiple of 3. And then if they both get through all 9 drinks, the 10th is the water.
I was just thinking. I was just thinking 5 rounds.
I think let's for times. Take Tom. Let's probably
all right, 5, and then the 6th is the water. All right, fine.
Fair.
Go.
All right, so, hold on. I need to real quickly just make a roll here just to figure out what this guy's force is. He has a force of 6. Okay.
What's your fourth, ladies?
Mine is 7.
Alright, that's fairly close. So, okay, he takes a step back as Solara are preparing their first shots to the others. Who are we thinking? She's asking to Nika and the others who's gonna win.
The dog may be big. However, I seen Thanatos drink. My money's on Thanatos.
All right.
Mine too. I think you have to support your friends, right?
Indeed.
Indeed. And honestly, he could use the win after recent events.
Damn right I do. Yeah. Come on, Nee.
All right.
Let's start this.
All right, Bronk nods. All right. Chug. And you go for it. Both of you need to make force checks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thanatos starts strong.
Alrighty. So, as matters stand, both of those do beat the DC for this first drink.
Alright, that's 1.
Well, that was the weakest one anyway. So,
So, you both throw him back, and it doesn't really kick you all that hard, but, you know, it works. Ron sort of shakes his head a bit and grins at you. Can do this all night.
You better put your mouth where the gill where your mouth is. What's the phrase was? Yeah.
Put your gill where your mouth is.
Yes. Put your gill where your mouth is because Solara, number 2.
Incoming!
round
Weirdos.
2.
Come on, Thanatos, you could do this. If you lose to this, then I say your victory against me was a fluke.
Alright, so, round 2. Both of you rolled pretty high. You managed to roll higher than the DC for that one. So
he was ahead of you on that one.
yeah.
Yeah, I let him have it.
All right.
Number
Just a second.
3.
Yep.
Round 3.
Round
Ooh,
3.
baby.
Roll it.
Come on.
Another 15 from
again.
Thanatos.
Dead on the same.
Oof.
Ooh, I think that's a loss for our Golka friend.
Indeed.
First loss. If he loses the next 2, he's out. He needs to get the next 2.
All right. So this one seems to hit Bronk a little harder than he was expecting. Like, he just straight up failed the DC on that one. So
You want me to get you a sippy cup for that?
No, I'm good. All right. Roll again.
Round 4.
Remember, people, this is the 3rd strongest drink in this bar.
Round 4.
13.
15.
Okay, so as it is, you both failed the DC.
This is a high DC.
Yeah.
But I still only have 1.
Yeah.
He's got 2 now.
Yeah. So
Yeah, which means, considering how hard the next one's probably going to be, I think he's done. Thanatos can't go out right now.
Yeah. As it is, like, still keeping track of, like, the standard assortment of wins and losses. You've both won 2 rounds. So anyway, so you're both definitely feeling the drink burning your throats and kicking the shit out of your senses at this point.
Here we go. Getting
Alright.
close.
Second strongest drink in this bar. Bronk, you better bring an A-game, I think.
Hang in there, Thanatos. Come
Alright.
on, man.
I think I'm out of...
So
Yeah, it's not going to be high enough for the DC.
So
but we'll see if I can
Bronk is going to expend his 1 point of destiny.
One point of destiny.
Oh damn! Okay, so
He really wants to 100 gil, doesn't he?
I could buy myself a beer with that, or he could buy himself 5 beers with 100 gil. All right, so he manages to actually beat the DC on that one. So So, but like you like you're both like at this point teetering, you know, like.
All right.
Time for the water.
All right, Nee. Bring the water.
It is time. We've been here before, but will he remain standing once again? It is
Come on,
the legendary
you're the king of the
water
bar.
of Eno. I think I have this announcer thing down, right, honey? Kind of grins at Mika.
Roll a performance check.
I have none of it. I don't have three. I have three.
Yeah, remember when you told the story of the big-boned Moogle chieftain to Velmarak? And you critical succeeded?
Yeah, I remember that when we were speaking in story as a metaphor.
Yeah.
So, almighty DM.
14, I think I done it.
Yep, Nee's nailing the announcer shit. Like there's not many people in here, but there's definitely a bit of a frenzy going on.
Almighty DM.
Yes.
Thanatos will be using 3 points of destiny for this next
Oh
roll.
my word.
Okay.
No, hold on, wait, hold on, let's talk about this.
Come on, man. Don't do it.
He did it.
Don't. Oh my
We're
god.
gonna be fighting a god soon, probably.
Well, you beat the DC, Thanatos, and this guy didn't.
So how much destiny has that put you down to?
14.
Crazy madman.
Okay.
That's overkill.
It's his birthday. You can let him have it. As it is.
Oh,
So,
Neat
I should
setting
have
it.
a point of destiny just for surviving water at that point.
Neat's letting him have this. Thomas Campbell, the real well, he's like, why you do this?
well, at any
There's no
rate,
spell I
so
can do to
so
get back that
Thanatos, you
destiny.
brace yourself. You've had this drink before. You've done this a few times, and you know the trick at this point. It's to not register the fact that you are drinking alcohol in your subconscious.
The trick is don't pass out.
Yeah, yeah. The trick
you
is
are
to just
actually
roll high,
drinking
guys.
Water and not the alcohol.
Yeah. So
The trick is to use your crucial destiny points meant for fighting gods to survive a drinking contest.
so, and you throw it back at the same time Bronk does. You set your glasses down, and Bronk's like, "Ugh, ugh, ugh," and falls over.
And
Caius
Thanatos
must be
just
swimming in alcohol.
We have a winner!
he slams it into the table and just stands up on shaky legs. You see that? That is why Dark Knights rule.
You like slapping yourself on the chest as you say that?
Yes.
As you're doing that, vertigo takes over and you fall over.
Give it
how
to champion Thanatos.
And how the mighty fall.
Either
So
way.
is Thanatos passed out at this point, or did he just tumble over?
I leave that at your discretion.
Can
Your
he just
pick.
have a small, little glimpse of consciousness left before he goes? Just to slowly get his hand up and just give me the finger.
All right.
And then
Have
he
enough,
passes
buddy.
out.
There'll be more drink when you wake up.
All right. And with that, Thanatos passes out, and Fane looks at the rest of you.
I don't know about all of you, but I think that's probably the shortest birthday celebration I've ever seen.
We're not stopping. We have a cure for that. Looks at Alistair. We'll just let him stew it off for 5 minutes. and then
Yep.
it's back to it.
I'd bring him back to his senses, and then he'd be off again.
All right.
Speaking of, she's gonna get out. Like, how much is a drink here normally?
I've been saying because this what has always been kind of a upper class establishment that the standard drink here, just the regular drink, costs 40 gil.
And he's gonna get out 40 gil and just like little Tarafel buddy. Consolation prize drops 40 gil in front of
Yeah.
Bronk.
Yeah. The Tarafel just laughs into his hand.
Honestly, that's the farthest he's ever made it. I don't know what inner strength he pulled on to get that far, but it was impressive.
Indeed.
Money is a power motivator,
Congrats,
clearly.
Honestly, I think he was just motivated to try drinking harder.
Hmm.
Tell
Wonder if he'll
Tika.
get.
Nice to meet you.
Neophil. Adventurers, I take it.
Yeah. That's our profession of choice. I'd gathered the same from your little band, given your attire.
Ranger of Vitae, actually.
Ah, shit.
Thanatos here. Yes, adventurer.
Well, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Now then.
And then Taltaga turns back to Bronk, puts a hand on his shoulder, and you see the familiar sight of the Poisona spell going off.
Oh, you have one too. Very good call.
And Bronk's sort of a... What happened? Did I kick his ass? Where am I? Who are you? Oh, I shall. What?
Wait. Oh, I don't want.
It's at about this point that Thanatos, you like touch, or like Alice, or you touch the top of your staff to Thanatos' back and cast Poisona as well, and Thanatos, you come back to wakefulness.
What?
Welcome to the land of the sober again, my friend.
We'll fix that soon enough. The conventional way, not the on your ass water
But I
way.
gotta know, if you're drunk, does that mean that your darkest self is swimming in alcohol
I
right
think we've
now?
asked that question before and it was a no.
We've asked that question several times.
Yeah.
And more, Caius is just shaking his head in the back, disappointed more than anything.
Yeah. Caius
I'm
usually
usually
likes to just
disappointed.
check out when that's happening.
Yeah. And I recall that there was something to do with like a noise of a pool cue going on.
No. That was when Thanatos
that's
turned into a
fun,
kid in
sure.
the Carbuncle episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm not
Oh yeah,
dealing
we
with
were
this.
watching like when a Caius turned into a kid and he just for purposes decided not to reveal it.
I mean, he did answer in a younger voice. I am not dealing with this. And then he went and played pool. And then he went and played pool to antagonize Thanatos and pass the time. That was a weird day. That was a very, very weird day.
Indeed.
Come on, Kuyo. Anyway, I gesture Bronk towards his 40 gil.
So, was it a draw?
Sure, let's go with that. Anyway. Thanatos, you are no longer drunk. Let's fix that.
Yes. Because the only cure for this is more drink.
All right. Okay, so
Mind if I ever go at you again?
Let's leave the drinking contest for now and just enjoy the beer.
All the...
Fair enough.
Oh,
Someday.
Don't worry, little Allie. We will teach you the right way one day.
I will best you someday. I mean, if I'm the guy that keeps getting back up from every near-death experience, I sure could train my stomach to handle the amount of
Be
alcohol
careful,
you
otherwise
consume.
little Ali will end up in it.
It's all a matter of time, my friend.
Indeed.
Anyway, with that, turns to the rest of them, including like Sid, Big Swedge, and Fane, and all that. More drinks.
all right. So unless there are any specific interactions you want to continue having, do we feel comfortable just kind of letting this night of merriment turn into a blur?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so with the drinking contest had, just with the sake of wanting to let your troubles be forgotten for this very brief moment of respite you have and enjoy this turn of the sun of Thanatos' lifespan, you spend the remainder of the night enjoying a very energetic and fruitful dance and drinks and party of just general revelry and a lot of fun. By the time the morning comes around, you are all given your own individual rooms, courtesy of Solara. Just, you guys, generally speaking, get to sleep here regardless of Nee's thing anyway, just as a point of gratitude for helping get her family out of that mess back in Kurzatan. So you all wake up, and most of you... Well, actually, hold on, I forgot something. You don't wake up just yet.
Well, we just had a good night. Don't tell me he's going to put us in a Diablo stream or something.
I mean, the calendar doesn't lie, guys. In this case, it's not my call.
Lumina, you're back.
Yeah, I've been here. I've just been muted so I could watch, so I could eat.
Okay. Well, at any rate.
Did you catch my epic victory?
Before he passed out again.
Well, at any rate.
So, what horrible things are you doing?
Well, as it is, that night, as you're asleep, you do indeed dream.
This is the bad things music.
You see before you as your consciousness sort of halfway emerges from your half-drunken slumber. Stretching out before you, you see the ocean in all directions. The night sky overhead is dark, cloudy, familiar. Several moments pass, with just the faintest hint of the sound of wind in your ears and the sloshing of the waves beneath you. And then you see a flicker of movement, just a shadow across the horizon. It rapidly draws closer and comes to a stop over the water. Humanoid figure. You've seen this humanoid figure before. Even silhouetted like this. It's Saran. You can tell.
Are we able to speak in this state?
Not at present. You're merely seeing. You see him hover over the waves for a moment, looking down into the water. Second passes before he reaches into his coat and withdraws a handful of pouches and lazily chucks them into the water. They drift down and out of sight. And then he lifts his hand up and he snaps his fingers. And when he does, there's a under the water, a pulse, a bassy boom, and a flash of amber-colored light. And after a moment, the water begins to swell and rise. Something large is rising up from the depths. You can see a flare of fiery light, a pulse of blue. You can see shadowy forms wriggling about. The water swells up once again, and then a colossal and familiar shape rises, swathed in flames, and a familiar roar reaches your ears. As the shape rises and the flames start to disperse and fade off of it, you see the familiar shape of Tiamat rising out of the water. Her body slowly reconstituting as the ashes part away, leaving the ashes that he had called on from the water to stitch themselves back together bit by bit. But where the heads before had been made of amber crystals etched into her person, the heads are now recreations, twisted, broken reformations of the heads of the elemental archfiends protruding from her neck and shoulders.
Oh, so having one last fight with the archfiend thing. Fun.
She thrashes for a moment as the last of the water falls off of her body and comes to a steady hover in front of Saran. And then he looks back towards you, and you can see his eyes glowing orange, silhouetted against the darkness.
In case he can actually see us, Nee just glares at him spitefully.
He doesn't seem to respond, but you hear his voice echoing around you. The race is on. You'd best move fast.
Faster than you.
With that, Saran turns back to Tiamat and just flies up to land on her back, and the second his feet touch down, all of the heads let out these broken, distorted, agonized wails, and a mighty flap of her wings propels her into the air and into the sky, kicking up a large wave of water that swallows your vision. And then you awaken.
We need to leave.
Yeah, all of you had that dream, and you all come to in your own rooms. Yeah, and I should also point out, as you're waking up from that, Nee and Thanatos, you feel a sharp stirring in the darkness as you awaken. Whereas Rocket, as you awaken, you sense a pulse of heat from the feathers tucked under your wings.
Did he just use Phoenix's power?
Oh, we're not in the
to
same
alert
room
Tiamat?
right now, so we need to gather.
Yeah, you're in different rooms as you come to.
So, again, this out of character. Did he just use?
Yes, the same thing
Phoenix's
Diablos
power.
did.
Yeah.
To Saran. Diablos through Saran has revived. Tiamat! They're just gonna leave her dead, the poor bastard. Anyway, Nee kind of grunting a bit from the shadows. We need to leave, Tamika.
Right. Yeah.
She's definitely shaking and seems shaken by what she just saw.
Where the hell is Odin?
And I
Nee's
should...
gonna
Why?
And I
He's
should...
gonna
Why
quickly
again?
put her things on and heads to the bar area.
Rocket lifts her wing and looks under it.
Yeah, you can see the feathers there. They appear to be as you left them. The pulse of warmth has faded at this point. They are back to as they were when you went to bed.
Okay. She tucks her wing back.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're all gathering in the central room, I take it?
Did Sid and that arrive too? Did they see it or just us?
Just you guys. You do not see the rest of the others as you come out.
Anyone else in the bar area?
At this early hour, you see a single person sort of behind the counter looking like he's getting like the common room ready for a morning breakfast rush. It's not Solara. It's a male. He glances up as you're coming down. Human individual. Looks to be middle-aged. You're all up rather early. You all right?
Yeah, don't mind us. We just have to talk. Adventuring business quickly.
I'll leave you to it, he says, getting the point and sort of shuffles back into what you assume is like the kitchen or storage room behind the counter, leaving you in privacy.
Rocket, that was definitely Phoenix's power. Did you get anything?
Yeah, I felt a rush of warmth as it happened, too.
And that really is Tiamat. Bahamut's gonna love this.
Oh yeah, especially considering all the archfiends are now, instead of like big crystal amber heads, it's all the archfiends again.
What's left of them? Twisted amalgamation.
What I
Fucking
want
that
to what I
hell.
want to
Yeah,
know
Bahamut's
is
gonna
why would he
put-
be reviving Tiamat again? We've already proven we can beat her, and we beat all of the Archfiends before. What is he trying to accomplish?
From his words, better hurry up. He's going straight for the Tower of Creation if I had to gather the final crystal. Maybe Tiamat serves a purpose in terms of Bahamut's presence.
Maybe.
Or maybe there's something else new
Twisted
about her.
slaver.
Well, even with Tiamat's power, he can't get into the castle or the tower, right?
I would never underestimate him. Especially with his little game he's playing. We don't know what's going through that band's mind.
Where the hell is Odin?
Thanatos, it is worth noting that as you said that Saran can't get into the tower even with Tiamat, you see this sort of flash come over Mika's eyes.
Oh, shit.
Tiamat, I think I just realized too, Tiamat is Bahamut's daughter. She can get in, right?
Right.
That's how he's going to breach the barrier, because Tiamat can go right through it. She's authorized.
But she's corrupted. Surely the barrier can.
Bahamut doesn't currently know she's still alive.
And we also don't know how the barrier works. It might not necessarily need his explicit approval. We know Odin can open the way, too.
She just has his blood. She's his daughter. And maybe
We've
enough.
got all but one of the crystals. Couldn't we get in?
Well, that's well.
That's what we need
Yeah.
Odin for.
He's going to
We
skirt
need
us in. Hopefully, he's making haste. Ow. I'm gonna go grab Sid, and then we're gonna head back to the airship. Meet him part way if we have to.
Right.
This is so unfair for Tiamat. I felt bad fighting her the first time.
Me.
I had hoped
Yeah.
there was a way we could save her, but
I'm afraid not at this point.
Most we can do is make sure to end our suffering permanently. Come on. Me is heading upstairs and going to Sid's room first, knocking on the door.
All right. Moment passes before it opens. Yeah, it's kind of early.
We gotta head out. Had another vision.
Ah, shit, what's going on?
Well, Tiamat's no longer dead, and she's heading straight for the Tower of Creation.
What?
Saran and the powers of the Phoenix.
Shit. All right, hang on, let me get my shit. Then he turns around and heads quickly back into his room.
We'll take that moment to waken the others and give them the same quick summation.
All right. There's definitely an air of hasty anxiety as you're delivering the news and everyone's quickly getting their things put together. And before long, you're all reconvening back in the common room with the rest of the group present.
General plan is we're going to head out to the airship and do a survey of the area, see if we can't get Odin's attention. If not, best thing we can do is start heading towards the Tower of Creation and hope he takes note. He has been expecting us to go there.
Right.
Which also means, unfortunately, we won't have time to get potions. We need to go now.
No, we'll get potions on the way out. Shops should be opening around now, but they're on the way. We'll make it quick. No new equipment, sadly, but I think we can spend a few minutes getting those.
We'll cover all the shopping after the session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just what.
All right, yeah, we can do. Yeah,
let's
we
say
can
right
do
now
that
on the way back to the airship we did it, and then
Yeah,
we'll sort it out.
we'll do that off camera.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So
that in mind, you go ahead and quickly go about whatever shopping it is you're going to do, heading out into the streets. And it's very hard to keep the sort of anxiety that you're all suddenly feeling from this turn of events suppressed as you're doing your bartering. So it passes relatively quickly as you pass into item shops and get the things you need for what's to come. And before long, it's getting on towards about, I want to say, it's getting on towards maybe 10 or 11 in the morning when you're all sort of coming together near the Little Wing and the airship dry dock.
all right. Talking to Sid here. If you guys don't mind coming with, if Odin is available to spirit us into the Tower of Creation, I'm gonna need someone who knows how to drive an airship.
Right, that was kind of the plan.
He is boarding and powering her up.
All right, so unless there is anything else any of the rest of you wish to do.
And no, we go.
All right.
They go.
All right, everyone gathers up onto the deck of the Little Wing in a pretty clear rush. And, like, the people of the airship landing, they've gotten used to your coming and going, and they see that this is kind of an urgent situation, so they bypass some of the usual checks to let you unclamp and take to the air sooner rather than later. And before long, you're sailing up into the air. And it's at about the time that you are getting up into the skies above Viola that there's a brief rumble in the air. And then the familiar prismatic beam of light that you saw Odin disappear into before, shining down from above right next to the Little Wing.
And he just bifrosted himself to us. Great.
Yep.
Just straight onto the deck.
No, next to the Little Wing. Like he's he's not landing on the deck. He can't actually do that. He's teleporting onto the ground below it.
He's a little big, Tom.
And he can only teleport to earthen locations.
Wait, I missed. Did we leave the city, or are we still in the city?
You're in the air above and around the city when he lands on the ground, not far away, sort of below the airship outside the city.
All right, so perfect timing. Nee is going to bring the Little Wing down next to him.
All right, and you can see him there. He's on Ixion's back as you bring the Little Wing down in a few circles before you bleed enough altitude for a landing.
Odin.
I know. I felt it. I came as quickly as I could when I did.
They're heading straight for the Tower of Creation.
That they are. And they're moving fast.
Can they get in?
Tiamat's blood, I imagine so, right?
Yes. Tiamat always had access.
They don't need to beat Bahamut or us, they just need to beat us to the crystal and destroy it. Without that, am I right in imagining its destruction would cast the Tower of Creation from the sky or something alike?
No, the Tower of Creation is not bound to the crystal. The Tower of Creation was a shell that was created purely to house what remained of the original chaos that formed this world. A place for things to begin anew in the event of a total apocalypse. And to keep it away from Diabolos.
That sounds exactly the kind of place Diabolos wants.
Exactly. He's been after it all this time because that's what he could use to reset things. Get rid of all of us.
If the crystal detonates inside, what happens to all that chaotic confluence?
Honestly, that would be the least of our concerns. That chaotic eruption would be contained to the tower. But it would mean Bahamut would be weaker, and if Saran or any of Diabolos' minions were the one to do it, specifically Saran, it would mean that Diabolos would have a direct link to that power.
Yeah, we don't need him having any of Bahamut's power.
To the power of the tower.
More the fact that Saran is an Eidolon, Diabolos could... This is essentially a piece of Diabolos walking inside.
Essentially, yes.
I hope you have a way just to spirit us there.
I do, though I cannot bring your airship. Unfortunately, it's too large.
We did fear that was the case. Sid, you're up.
Yep, I know. Do what you gotta do. We'll keep the airship safe. We'll make our way over to Vitea and let everyone there know what's going on.
The rest of you, keep an eye on Eno while we're gone.
Indeed. Now, come on. There's no time to lose.
Alright, so you all step down off of the Little Wing, giving it another little glance before gathering around Odin and Ixion. Are you prepared?
This does feel like a bit of a point of no return, doesn't it?
If there's anything else you need to do, it should be done now.
Oh, that's literally the message you get in video games when you're at the point of no return.
So, yeah.
We're
good. We get us there now.
We have
My
potions.
bag's full. I have everything. Ready than you are.
Yeah, when we're doing our shopping, we're not skimping on the gear. We're buying fucking everything. Beam us up.
All right. Very well. Brace yourselves. This will feel strange. Now, Rocket, you've felt this sensation before when you were traveling with Odin and Ixion, but to the rest of you, the sensation is wholly unfamiliar. Odin lifts his blade up high into the air, and the moment he does, you see this sort of shimmer of light down the blade. And then from the very ground beneath you, there's an upswell of light, and you are suddenly surrounded on all sides by surprisingly calm air, despite the rushing of the light. It's as if you're standing in the middle of a tornado made of rainbows with no wind. Just a sudden rush of movement, a brief sensation of vertigo and displacement. Your stomach sort of drops into your feet before leaping into your throat and returning to its normal sensation. A brief moment of utter motion sickness before you come out of it, and you have completely changed location. You are no longer near Viala. As the light fades, you see that you are on the slopes of a gargantuan mountain that you have only ever seen before from afar. Right at the edge of a sheer drop that goes down and down and down into darkness. And lifting your eyes up across this enormous chasm that spans for miles upon miles in every direction in front of you, up ahead you see a structure that none of you had seen before, save for in undetailed illustrations. You see a towering, surprisingly mundane-looking tower. If you've ever seen, like, the structures in Markarth in Skyrim, for example, it looks remarkably like one of those, except gargantuan in scale and slowly rotating, suspended on a single island of dirt and stone and green crystals that jut down like a chandelier towards the chasm beneath. You see the Tower of Creation ahead of you.
So, journey's end, huh?
Nearabouts. Whatever happens next, this will be a turning point.
No going back.
None.
It awaits.
Then, let us get the final crystal, and make sure Saran is wiped clean from this world with that master of his.
Let's. Then Odin swings his sword horizontally, and as he does, there's another shimmer of light in the air around you, and you see this previously invisible dome suddenly flicker into being across the entire chasm. You see this sort of faintly distorted and stretched out hexagonal shape pattern in this filmy gray barrier. And in front of you, a vertical slat peels open, and as it does, a bridge, seeming to be made of pale blue light, stretches from where you are all the way to the tower. And then Odin lowers his blade. Ixion and I shall remain here. When Tiamat arrives, we shall do what we can to delay her. But if she can manage to slip by us, it will fall to you to destroy her, and Saran both.
Saran both out of character. That implies we're facing a final fight with him.
Regardless,
Okay.
your priority for the time being, get the crystal and then get out.
Just if you can at least weaken her before she gets in, that would help.
We'll do what
Yeah,
we
having
can.
fun.
Good luck in there.
And hopefully Bahamut will be in a helping mood.
He has been expecting you for some time. Just don't expect him to be gentle. There will be trials to face ere you find him.
Shiva told us how traditional he is. We're awaiting for it. Come on. We have a world to save. Finally.
Stay safe. Wish you luck.
All right.
A world to save and a psychopath to kill.
All right. So, with that, you turn towards the tower and set foot onto the bridge. And as you begin to make your way across, you are surprised. As with every step you take, the tower draws closer far faster than you would have otherwise expected. It's as if space itself is shrinking to facilitate the rapid acceleration of your journey as you get closer. As if the actual laws of distance stop mattering the closer you get. And you briefly look back after maybe 20 steps, and you're already halfway there, having covered miles of empty air across this bridge after only a few steps.
Here goes.
You continue, step after step, the tower looming tall over you, and this impossible feeling of smallness swallows you up as you draw near. Then as you're approaching, there's a strange sensation, a weird sense of nothing, so to speak. A moment of you not being where you thought you were. And if you'll give me just a second, because this is a point where there's a music shift, there is a brief moment where you blink. And when you come to, your environment has changed. You're no longer standing on that bridge. You're no longer suspended over that chasm. Instead, you find yourself in a completely different space. Looking around, you see that you are in what seems to be an enormous void. Far off in the distance, you can see a vaguely reddish-purple star, obscured by a thick haze of clouds and mist. You can see, looking briefly down, that you are standing on a floating platform of jagged obsidian, it looks like. And in the mists around you, in these swirling dark purple clouds, you can see flickers of scenes that you instinctually know are hundreds of thousands of years old. You see depictions of each of the deities you've allied with so far in various scenarios. You see Leviathan and Shiva creating the first oceans and glaciers. You see Ifrit and Phoenix standing amid a slowly rejuvenating forest bathed in flames and embers. You briefly see the first thunderstorms created by Ramu and Bahamut. Scene after scene of these ancient beings creating the world you now call home. And in some of them you even see Diabolos helping, from before his mind was lost to confusion and madness.
You know, you can almost understand why he wants to go back to before he'd lost it all.
Welcome to the Tower of Creation, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the world he wants to go back to.
He's playing the end of the world in Kingdom Hearts, and I am afraid.
He was playing the final dungeon theme from FF1 a minute ago.
I was.
So...
But then I figured, you know, given that I actually took some inspiration from the end of the world from Kingdom Hearts 1, it seems more appropriate.
Indeed.
Since I have like that slight ambery connection in my soul to Diabolos, do I feel anything particular from like this world?
Well, all of you can tell, just looking around, you can feel it on an instinctual level in your bones. The laws of reality that you know don't really apply here. Things are malleable, abstract.
Which would imply we can slightly shape things to how we want them to, like these gaps here.
Possibly. If you can muster up the will to command this chaos.
Mika, this place is pure chaos, right? The world before there was a world?
Perhaps. If nothing else inside this tower, things are like that.
Then let us do some shaping. There's gaps there. Maybe just by I don't know, wishing hard enough. Might fill them in. Worth a shot, right?
Maybe. I imagine whoever's strongest would probably have the final say, though. And that would be Bahamut. So if he doesn't want us doing something in here, we can't.
What's to try and create like bridges between these gaps? What role would that be?
That would be a finesse check. That being said, though, as you are not an inherent magic user, Tom, you would suffer a -4 penalty. The guys with access to spells will have a better shot here.
Who has the highest finesse among magic users?
Let's have a look then.
Yes, we should call it soon. I just kind of want to mess with the mechanics here and at least get to that pool.
Mika's finesse is 6.
Yeah.
My finesse is 6 as well.
And Thanatos, your finesse?
6.
So it could
We're
be
all
so it could be any of you three, really.
I say we all get shot.
All right.
So I'm going to go. Thanatos, your dark. Out of all our magic users here, your connection to the shadow is most acute. Give it a go.
Okay.
16. Damn, pretty high number. You needed a 15. So, how exactly are you trying to do this? What are you trying to achieve with that?
I'm not entirely sure what Tom intends me to achieve.
Well, we're trying to create bridges across these gaps so we can get over.
Yeah, I should mention that sort of off in the distance, you can see what looks like a swirling sort of black hole with purple lights dancing around it, just situated beneath that distant crimson star.
That's where we got to get to, but we need to, get over the gaps. So create the bridge.
So with that 16, Thanatos, you outstretch your hands for a second and concentrate, and after a moment, you sort of curl your hands into fingers, and it's such a strange feeling. It's like the air itself is a fabric as you wrap your fingers around it and start to pull and tug, and slowly but surely, the islands around you start to move. I moved to the skybox. That's not what I wanted to do.
We moved. Thanatos, you moved the sky. What have you done?
But yeah, bit by bit, the islands start to move and arrange themselves in new configurations, slowly but surely, rumbling gently through the air as they go, forming a bridge towards the vortex in the distance.
Oh. A bridge into the unknown? I think that's a good place to call it as any.
Indeed. So, that being said, I suppose I should point out, modifying reality like that in this space is not a simple thing. It will be taxing. And as such, Thanatos, you lose... That was incorrect. Hold on a second.
Oh dear.
Can I just say one thing?
You may.
Chronicles of Eno abridged.
What?
Oh god.
Chronicles of Eno abridged, and we just made a bridge in Chronicles of Eno.
Oh. Okay. I get it. Thanatos, you lose 40 MP to do that.
Ah. Well. Fuck me.
I take it costs life force from us non-magic users. Like HP instead of MP.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof. Brutal.
So,
Either
how about
way.
you not do it?
So, either way, with that, the bridge is erected moving forward. You have a clear shot to the vortex. And that is where we will pick up next time.
This is gonna get trippy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been working on the concepts for this dungeon for over a year.
Reality bending puzzles. Yay!
Pack your bags, kids, because we're going on a tour.
All right, well,
We've
next
been
time is
tripping
definitely going to be
balls.
interesting. But either way, so thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning into this episode of Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. We'll see you next time. Until then, keep listening, people. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This is going to be interesting.